Tuesday, the game will take place. Ravens had to postpone their game due to the lack of safety and not being able to play under the conditions of what's going on with the COVID-19 virus. We are still in the midst of a pandemic. I'm joined by my good brother Mike Patton. Mike covers the Tennessee Titans for Haps Media and so much more. Mike, how you feeling today?
Well, feeling great and hoping the Ravens are starting to feel better soon.
Yeah, me too. I'm not really excited about a lot of the things that the Steelers were saying, a lot of things that were coming out from them, Mike. To me, I'm gonna be straight up. They sound like a bunch of babies, saying, why is this ain't fair? Our game is canceled. Look, we're all in the midst of a pandemic. I remember a time when this all started. The saying, the hashtags, everything was "we're in this together," and I don't feel like that right now. I feel like they're playing more the blame game. You know what I mean?
Right. I definitely feel that way. Even if there was something that happened one way or the other, if the situation was reversed and Pittsburgh was in this situation and somebody else was saying this against them, I bet they would feel a different way.
Yeah, and as a Ravens fan, I still would be upset if the Ravens were saying that. It's just not cool.
Right.
Shout out to Pablo listening. Postponed again, very bitter players. Yeah, Pablo. They realize that it's just so much. And what people gotta understand, there's a lot of money being lost here. There's a lot of money when you think about advertising dollars. And for those who do not really understand how this works, so the networks pay the league and the networks promise their buyers a certain amount of ratings. You feel me? So it's like, hey, Mike, I want you to advertise the Sports Awakening on Break It Down with Brian H. And I'm going to assume we're going to get 100,000 listens. Well, I got to postpone that. So I got to put it on, let's say, Tuesday. Now I can still average you pay for the Sunday slot, right? You pay for the
Right.
Sunday slot. So what that means is I got to figure a way to, I probably won't get the 100,000 views or listens, but now I got to make it up to you on the back end. I got to make it up to you down the line. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to this. So trust and believe the NFL did everything they could not to have to postpone this. It's not about the Ravens not having the competitive advantage. That's the reason for practice squads. It's strictly about safety. Mike, you said you had some additional information. And the best part I love about when we do these shows, yeah, sometimes we go over a lot of what we're going to talk about, but then sometimes you just want to hear it. So I'm going to let you go right here and take it away.
All right. Well, one thing I would say is this, for those in the Ravens camp that think it's so bad and so terrible, and Pittsburgh fans, having their own moment, and Pittsburgh players, think about this. The Titans had 20, 21, 22 players, I believe, or players and staff that had it, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't miss a game. So, for those that are worrying about this potentially postponing the game on Tuesday, uh, I think they'll play. I don't think we'll see Lamar Jackson though. I think we'll see RG3 playing quarterback for the
For the
Baltimore Ravens.
And for the Ravens, that might be a good idea. RG3 played against the first string defense last year and beat them. It was the last game of the season. Steelers had something to play for. They was trying to play for a winning record. I believe they also had an opportunity to make the playoffs. So it wasn't like they just went in there and laid down. The Raven and RG3 beat them. Bottom line. So Lamar Jackson, I know, he was looking forward to redeeming himself. 2 bad games against the Steelers. I believe he has a total of 5 or 6 interceptions against them. So I know Thanksgiving would have been the day he would have liked to have had a better game. But the bottom line is, folks, the thing that, like I said, gets back to the issue. Um, you got these players talking about, the coronavirus, and we have to understand this is a deadly disease and we're supposed to be in this together. I'm pretty sure the Ravens didn't electively go get the coronavirus. I'm pretty sure they aren't celebrating, at least we ain't got to play the Steelers, or let's try to out psych them out. No, not at all.
No, definitely not. The thing that does irritate me though about the
Mm-hmm.
Ravens though is the staffer that wasn't paying attention to all the details.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, he got fined But honestly, if he wasn't paying attention to the details and knowing that there's percentages of people that could potentially die, then he should be fired. Period. Point blank. I don't think a fine. No, he just didn't take it seriously. He didn't do what he was supposed to do, and the team told him to do, and the NFL told him to do. So he should be fired. Because at our jobs, at our day jobs, do you really think that they're going to hear that type of explanation and they're going to let you mess up and then be like, oh, okay, well, you can have your job back? Not going to happen
No,
that way 9 times out of 10.
not at all. Pablo says he always stand by the fact that the NBA did a better job, a much better job at handling the pandemic. Absolutely. I know
Agreed.
they said it was impossible to do a bubble. Quite frankly,
No, it wasn't impossible.
they could have found a way, even
Oh,
if you
I
did it,
created a way.
huh?
I actually created a way. I wrote about it.
Oh, you want to give a summary?
Definitely. They could have did a rotational bubble.
Mhm.
Basically, put 8 teams in a bubble, have them rotate to play each other. Then, of course, quarantine for a couple weeks, play another 8 teams in the bubble, and then the last 4 games they could kind of rotate it out. How they seem fit. That way, you get the games in. They quarantine 2 weeks before the games. They go in, do the games, stay doing testing while they're doing the games in the bubble. Then rotate out 2 weeks, quarantine, go back in another bubble.
Yeah. Now, what you say about they had a bubble in the MLB somehow though? I'm forgetting his name. Justin Turner
Right.
still contracted the virus, and we saw what happened during the celebration. He was still out there, but and I know it's the World Series, but dude, no, you can't do that. But he was still out there. So what do you say about the naysayers who bring that up?
Well, I get that, but would you rather just people just run around, do whatever they want to do, and have the corona increase the chances, or would you try to do your best to decrease the chances? If I'm a pro league, I'm trying to decrease as many chances as I can for
Mhm.
anybody, any of the players, any of the coaches, any of the staff catching the Rona.
Yeah, it's just sad, and I really hope that they can, get it together. I honestly, Mike, I don't see the season finishing out. Um, I don't think we've hit the peak of this season with it. You know what I mean? We saw it peak the first time around May, June-ish, right? And then it started to feel like it seemed like it was getting better. But I'm looking at this now and I feel like it's going to get worse. We're going into Christmas. As much as we see in different places, especially here in Baltimore, some shutdowns happen. I knew they wasn't going to shut down. Well, I shouldn't say shut down. I should say phases. I knew they wasn't going to shut things down this weekend because it's Black Friday. As we recorded, this is Black Friday. There was no way they was going to take that attempt to risk out on making as much money. Where most people make money on the accessories, and most stores lose money, but still that foot traffic, especially heading into the holidays. And you brought up the staffer. It reminds me of Rudy Gobert in the beginning, touching all the microphones, you know.
Right.
And I've had people I know who worked there, who worked covering the team, and some of the people we know were covering the Utah Jazz at that time, and they all had to get tested, you
Right.
know. So but this happens, but just to kind of get into the football part of it, how do you think this changes the Ravens mentality going into this game?
Well, I don't think it changes their mentality at all. I will say that one thing it'll do is it'll actually change the game plan for sure. So I don't
Mhm.
think they're going to have RG3 running around doing the same things Lamar Jackson did because Lamar Jackson has better knees than RG3 does. So I think they'll actually do maybe some run pass option, a little bit more, a little bit of that, but they'll do more of spreading the football around in terms of getting it to the wide receivers, more deep routes, I think, because I think RG3 in his time as being a starting quarterback was definitely solid in terms of throwing the football, especially deep. I think he has the advantage in terms of over Lamar Jackson in that aspect. So I think you'll see more deep shots. You'll see a little bit more Hollywood Brown and a little less of Mark Andrews with RG3 at quarterback.
Do you? believe the Ravens can win this game?
Uh, it's gonna be tough. They're gonna have to scheme it up. And the one thing I would say is, no matter what happened with the coronavirus or not, they still cannot stop the run solidly at all, and that's not a good thing going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, honestly, I didn't think they had a great shot to win this game going in. I think their shot got even worse now, especially with Lamar being sidelined.
I actually thought they stopped Pittsburgh's run the last time a little bit better. It was Ben, and I think they're gonna win. This sounds crazy. I actually had them losing if this game would have played out the way it was supposed to. But with the fact that the Ravens are probably gonna come in this game really ticked off, and I think Pittsburgh might be a little ticked off, but I think the Ravens are gonna be like super annoyed. They already, this to me, it's a make or break for the season because sure they could lose this game and win out, but if they lose, I do think it takes a lot, and we'll start seeing the Ravens lose some games that they should have won, losing maybe to the Cowboys or to the Jaguars. But if they win,
Oh,
this would be huge for them. But I think because this is a rivalry game, because there's been so much trash talking, I think there's going to be the players rallying around the players that cannot play, and they'll take it to the Steelers. And like you said, just the way RG3 plays, I think we gotta look at it too. RG3, I don't think his contract is a long-term one. So somewhere down the line, he would love to start again somewhere. Obviously, he wouldn't
yeah.
start here. Huh?
Uh, I definitely understand that one. Honestly, I don't see RG3 ever starting in the NFL again, to be honest.
And maybe he
But
don't either.
but this could also be something that could, definitely get him another contract in terms of being a backup and a proven backup. With this, this kind of like how Nick Foles keeps getting contracts from places that you would never expect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out of the question. It's not out of the question that he could mess around and get a contract. Not saying the to the Foles level, but get a contract to potentially come in and be a starter.
Yeah, and the defense is going to have to step up because the last game they had the Steelers. I mean, it was 21-3 at halftime or 21-7 at halftime. The Ravens had them. They had them where when they came out, if they would have just made some of the small adjustments and prepared for Pittsburgh's adjustments, they would have won that game. And Pittsburgh's having a whole different season. Now they're on the verge that, provided they win this game Tuesday, they could possibly go undefeated. And then with the Ravens, now this game switches the following week because they were supposed to play back-to-back Thursday games. They were supposed to play
Right.
Dallas the following Thursday. So, shout out to Daniel Artest. Thanks, man. Appreciate the commenting on Facebook. They were supposed to play the Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys the following Thursday. So it would have been a week rest. But now Tuesday, you can't play Tuesday and then Friday, Thursday. So I'm assuming they'll probably move that to next Sunday, or I think it's actually going to be moved it's going to be moved to the following
Move to
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's so much going on, and I don't think this will be the last of it. And I think it would have hurt, things, and things in the league will get switched up is if you start to see player a lot. This happened with a lot of teams, and now you got to really rejuggle the whole schedule.
Yes, definitely. And ultimately, this all comes down to the NFL because the NFL did not give themselves enough space to actually be able to deal with these types of situations.
Mhm.
Because in the beginning, they thought, oh, well, we got time and we can figure this out and, we'll know more things about it when the season comes around because they were the last ones to start. And now it's here and they still haven't thought of anything. And it's kind of like they're flying by the seat of their pants in a sense. And they could have actually spaced out the season to where, you could deal with these type of things, maybe have additional bye week scheduled, stuff like that. I know it sounds easy to us now looking at it, from this perspective, but they could have, been ahead of that and could have stretched that out, taken care of all of that ahead of time. But they're hard headed. The NFL is always hard headed, and we have this situation here.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Earl. Listen to this. Give us an extra week to prepare to lose. Like I said, I actually I do. I got it may be my prediction to change, but I think the Ravens really rally around that. And John Harbaugh doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to get swept by the Steelers. Bottom line,
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's happened since, but I know it happened his first year here, and it happened. He actually got beat by them 3 times. They lost to him in the AFC Championship game, but he doesn't want to get swept by the Steelers. So it's definitely gonna be tough. But you're going to have players step up. RG3 will. He's going to have to step up. And like you said, I like the game plan that you said you think we'll see, which is a lot of deep passes, a lot of rotation. Do you bring Des Bryant in?
Yes, yes. They should have brought him in even more. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, the biggest thing that frustrates me is why have they not used that big body in the red zone more? It boggles my mind. I was watching the game when they were playing versus the Titans. They got to the red zone 3 times. They scored 1 touchdown. The other 2 times, Des Bryant, they never looked his way. Throw it
Mm-hmm.
up to him. He is a big man. He might not be as fast as he used to be. He might not be as skilled as he used to be. Just with age, of course, stuff's gonna fall off. But you throw the football up to him in the red zone, I'm pretty sure he's going to body somebody out of the way and get that catch for a touchdown. So that frustrated me. And another thing to point out to you as well, I think Calais Campbell is still out for this game. If that's he's out for this game, that's huge.
Yeah, it really sucks. Brian Langford, my man Brian ain't lying, said the fade is the hardest pass to throw. Lamar is not that type of passer, and it's something we're going to have to see develop. Last year, astronomical video game numbers. We If you watch football, now of course, as Ravens fans, we saw some of the things that we saw the opportunities, but what we did see, and you're a big you're a fan of the 49ers, so Greg Roman better than a lot of us did. We saw
Yes.
that, okay, Lamar's having fun, he's going out there, he's playing cool. This thing is working. He ain't really passing. I mean, he's passing because the run is opening up. He's not making, he does try to thread the needle a lot, and sometimes he hits, sometimes he don't. But then you have Greg Roman when just not making these adjustments. And that's the thing that's driving everybody crazy. And that's why I said Lamar does not look like he's having fun this year. And I know a lot of people like, no, he doesn't look like he's having fun. He looks like it's almost like, oh, come on now, he's wanting these guys to get it together. But you go back to the that's the reason why he's kind of taking shots, saying, look, people know what we're doing.
Right. Right. The thing I'm looking at with the 49, excuse me, with Roman, the coordinator, he's not a good
Mm-hmm.
counterpuncher. Never
Bingo.
has been a good counterpuncher. He's good at doing what he does, and then you adjust. And then when you adjust, then it's almost like the house is on fire and no windows open, and I don't know what to do. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically what happens. But the thing is that he could do is he could actually start doing a little bit more motion and things like that, give a little bit more window dressing. One thing that does is that makes it an easier read for a quarterback. Secondly, that makes the defense move around and a little bit of confusion out there. If he
Yeah.
does those type of things, that will help the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
the
And
offense, I'm sorry. Offense.
I know what you mean. Yeah, and the thing is, he gotta make adjustments on the fly. For Lamar Jackson, and like I said, he just gotta go have fun. This is the National Football League. We talk football, but we have other things to do. We also talk other sports. If you tell somebody you got 40 hours a week 40 hours a week to watch Lamar Jackson. Don't you think? And this is they defense is their specialty. Don't you think they're gonna make an adjustment? They're gonna figure him out. They're gonna be able to
Exactly.
pick it apart.
Yeah.
Brian also says Ravens got to run the ball more. Teams ain't scared of Willie Snead. They're not scared of Willie Snead, but I will say that they respect him. Well, I put it like this: he's a dog. He gonna make things happen. But it's one little thing he did. He had a big run and I thought they was about to poke the ball from behind and cause him a fumble, and he didn't. So I'm looking at the way he plays, and I'm like, man, I like this guy. But Willie Snead as a number one, your primary target is 9 times out of 10 not winning you a Super Bowl.
Correct.
you know, um, Hollywood Brown, no, maybe it depending on the way you use them. So I really like to see. I would love to see the Ravens make a draft pick. Go get another wide receiver. No, go get one in free agency. It was a guy number 18 in Cincinnati that people feel like he hasn't appeared this year, but it's because the chemistry with him and Joe Burrow have not gotten on the same page, and Burrow's out. So we'll probably, unfortunately, Joe Burrow's out, but we probably will see more from AJ Green. But I was like, man, we need to go get him in Baltimore.
I got another guy that might be
Mm,
on the move, and I don't know how the cap works there, and I don't know
mm.
if you want him there, but he could definitely probably be available. You had the right state, just the wrong team, and you
Right
know who I'm
state.
talking about already.
Who?
Talking about Odell. Bring Odell to town. I
That was
think
it. Okay.
bring him to town. I think
Yeah.
the reason I think if you bring him to town, you basically put everybody in the right positions. You put Hollywood Brown in the number 2 spot. You put Willie Snead in the slot and 3 guy. Des Bryant can come in and situationally. He puts everybody all in the right situations. He may not be a true number 1 in terms of doing everything, but he commands that type of attention from a defense that's going to make everything easier for everybody else.
Why is it that the Browns are playing better without him?
Honestly, the Browns aren't using Landry a ton either. So that's one thing that's quietly nobody's talking about. They
Mm-hmm.
aren't using Landry a ton either. So it isn't like they're using both of them. So, honestly, I would say this. Odell's not a guy that's going to run out there, even though, he has bravado and things like that. He's not going to be a guy. Look, if you're winning, doing what you need to do, you won't hear a peep out of him or anything like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're losing, that's a different story. But to me, I mean, it's just I think Baker Mayfield sometimes forces him the football and tries to force Landry the football too, and that's an issue. Just go to
Yeah.
the open guy. Now, even with Odell Beckham not there anymore, you still got him forcing the football to play places, but that's just a symptom of him not being a long term NFL quarterback to me. But Odell Beckham definitely. You trade him to the Ravens. I definitely think with some of those routes that they run, it's a pretty simple route tree that they run.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be excellent in that system, and he would
Yeah.
make everyone around him better because he put them in the right positions.
Yeah. That's interesting. He would definitely it would bring a lot of attention here. I tell you that. Kenny Stills release. Should the Ravens think about getting him?
Uh, I don't think so. The only reason I don't think so is because they're not a team that goes deep a lot. They
Mm-hmm.
go deep a lot. Kenny Stills is your guy because Kenny Stills, no matter what happened in Houston, he still has speed,
Mm-hmm.
big speed.
You said what kind of speed?
He has big time speed.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't think they could use him? You don't think it would help them open up the playbook?
No, no, because that guy Greg Roman is still the offensive coordinator. And if you look at the 49ers, they went deep with tight ends with Vernon Davis and Delaney Walker when he was there. They go
Mm-hmm.
deep ends in Baltimore with Andrews. I can't name a wide receiver that went deep with the 49ers, and I surely can't with the Ravens right now.
What happened with Randy Moss there?
They never used him correctly. They could have used him to take the top off of defenses, things like that, but he had him running slant patterns and blocking. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But there's a reason why Greg Roman has moved around, and now
Yeah.
you're seeing it.
Does he? Is this his last year in Baltimore?
Should be.
Yeah, I
It
because I
should
was
be.
thinking we seen John Harbaugh get rid of Cameron and Ravens go ahead and win the Super Bowl under man, I forgot the guy's name that fast. But they went ahead and went to the Super Bowl because the way Cam Cameron was coaching. And it's almost like, well, probably be
Hello.
oh, hello.
There you go. There you go.
Like opposite, yeah, but it seems like we're gonna be in that same situation again. That they could, you know, Brian says Greg Roman is the new Mike Martz, and also,
Correct, but
yeah,
less passing.
but here's what he says to your point. He said Stills could give Lamar more room to run at the most because he will run 50 yards down the field.
So what, you bring him in to be a track star? I mean,
But see, the thing is, I think Lamar
I get
wants
it
to
though.
throw the
I
ball
get it
deep,
though.
though. You know, I think he wants to throw deep to Hollywood. The problem is that, like you said, it comes down to play calling, and that's
Well, he
what
doesn't.
huh?
Well, he doesn't. The thing is with the offense, he kind of gives him. He doesn't give him throws that he's comfortable with. He gives him
Mm-hmm.
throws where he's got to throw it pinpoint. And Lamar at this point in his career is not a pinpoint passer. So you
Right.
get not giving him throws that are. That's why I was saying with the window dressing that would help him. That's the one thing that one coordinator I'm gonna bring up is Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. You notice in those games that he has with Ryan Tannehill, some of the throws are difficult that Ryan Tannehill makes, but he
Mm-hmm.
does a lot of window dressing and movement and things like that to create easier throws for Ryan Tannehill, which makes
Yeah.
him look better. That's what you need in an offensive coordinator, is to make the game easy for your team, not make it harder like he's
Yeah.
doing now.
Yeah. The best offensive coordinator Ravens had in the past few years was Super Bowl winner Zubiak. You know,
Yeah.
excuse
Yep.
me. Fart noises jumps in the comments, said Hollywood's too small to make the 50-50 ball, to win the 50-50 ball. I will say he might be, but he's made some catches that you wouldn't think somebody his size would make. Those deep catches in traffic. You're like, wow, how in the world did he do that? And I think
Yeah.
the thing I like about him, he has heart. Now, he dropped some key passes last week, but he has heart. So I think that the Ravens cannot afford to stay committed to Greg Roman if he doesn't make these adjustments, because before you know it, Lamar Jackson gonna be in a contract year, and somebody else may offer him, and people, or Hollywood could want to go somewhere else. It's so much that could go wrong. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
not a team that needs to win this year or next year, but they're kind of in that middle place. They could be one of the teams. You don't want to become like the Detroit Lions, where they had that window, but then all of a sudden it closed really quickly. When you had the year they lost to Dallas in the playoffs, and that was a team that could have made a run. you know
I hear you.
so the
I,
Ravens definitely don't want to do that.
I hear you there about Detroit, but boy, oh boy, I'm still kind of scratching my head over how they gonna celebrate when they down 3 touchdowns, score a touchdown, start dancing in the end zone. I'm like, okay,
I thought it was one.
that's loser mentality. Detroit Lions, that is a loser mentality.
Oh man.
Couldn't help that.
Yeah, somebody jumped in comments earlier, said, what will the Ravens get fined? The game should stay on Sunday
Yep.
and a draft pick. I'm not. No, I don't think. And like I said, I'm not just saying this because my team. The fact is, they disciplined the coach like they should have. You don't make the team suffer. You know what I mean?
I, I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they will get fined because the president's already been set. Because the Titans got fined, the Raiders got fined, and a draft pick, and now this coach is going to cause them to be fined.
Now, what did the
Uh,
Raiders and the Titans do though? Like, what was the? Obviously, it seems like it was one super spreader here. Was it the same
I
thing
can
or
tell you.
okay?
I can tell you. Okay, the Titans, they had a workout that was actually around the time of when they shut down the facility. They had a workout at a local high school.
All right, so that's multiple
So that
people.
was one.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders, they of course the event they had, Darren Waller's charity event. A lot of
Okay.
them came there maskless. That's another one. Now you got this staffer that wasn't paying attention to the protocols, even though they told him about it, which is
Mm-hmm.
why I think he'll ultimately be fired and they'll be fined. He better pray they don't get fined, because if they get fined, he's gonna be fired. That's
Right.
gonna happen. So that's why I'm connecting the dots and saying more than likely they will get fined. More than likely they will lose potentially a draft pick, all because of this coach.
But I see what you're saying, but that's really not fair in this situation. And like I said, I'm not saying this because it's my team. I'm saying because there were multiple people involved as opposed to one person being essentially a super spreader.
Well, I hear you there, but the way the
Mm-hmm.
league's gonna look at it is that it's your team. Your people didn't do what you were supposed to do, so therefore you got to pay for it.
That's
That's
true.
that's the way the league's gonna look at it.
That's true. And it'll be interesting to see what happens these next few days as we, try to stay tuned to this. I just hope and pray nobody else has this situation. I hope nobody else, for everybody out there, please wear a mask, you know, wear a mask, take care of yourself, and be careful. Bottom line. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, the final thoughts I have is I'm looking forward to Tuesday. Of course, I've watched the Tuesday game here in Nashville with the Titans and the Bills, and we thought the team that didn't have practice time was not going to be prepared, and lo and behold, the Titans blew out the Bills.
Mhm.
So we could potentially see something like that too. So you never know what can happen, and I just hope not as many players end up on this list as did with the Titans.
Yeah, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Mike Pat, and I'm Brian H. Waters. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all be safe, and I'll catch you the next time right here on Haps. Mike, when are you going live again?
Probably be Sunday
Okay.
before the game because they got a big one with the Colts.
Yeah, let's go Colts. Titans came into Baltimore, was very disrespectful, decided to line up in the middle of the field. So they're on my Steelers list.
Malcolm Butler should be the king person on that one because he was talking to the coach.
See, there you go. Like, why? What are you doing? And then there's Rabel and you know how I feel.
I'll yeah, I'll tell you this though. Vrabel
Mhm.
did come out like Debo, and then he came out there at John Harbaugh didn't really say too much to him. They was talking, but he wasn't really in his face like he was going towards Malcolm Butler
I
because he knew
mean,
that was Debo coming.
yeah, Rabel, workout warrior. I heard.
Yep,
Just look. I don't want to dislike Derrick Henry, but that dude is a monster.
yep,
uh,
creative player.
yeah, like literally, like somebody with unlimited attributes.
The only thing they have is lateral quickness. That's great, which nobody seems to want to take advantage of.
Hmm, that's
That's the
true.
only thing that's great, and nobody seems to want to pick up on that. If you can get him before he gets started, that's the
Mhm.
main thing. If you let him get started, it's over. I'm still trying to
Yeah,
figure out statement about him too being not being tough. I'm still trying to figure out that. I don't know if you heard that statement or not, but yeah.
who said he's not being tough?
Ryan Clark is talking about he's some kind of fake tough guy because he's always stiff arming defensive backs or whatever. I'm like, man, Ryan Clark is hilarious for that one. But that's my guy, but he's hilarious for that.
I like Ryan a lot. Favorite and one of my favorite analysts in the game, even though he played for that ugly black and gold. And I told him, I said, Ryan, you're one of my favorites, but you play for all the teams I don't like. Um, but yeah, Derek Henry, and the thing is, I know we get ready to get out of here, but the thing is that drove me crazy was like you gotta rotate personnel because he's the type that can wear you down. And that's
Right.
exactly what he did to the Ravens. But Mike, you take it easy, man. You be safe. I'm about to go ahead and get some Thanksgiving leftovers.
Oh man, I'm on round two today.
There you go. All right, everybody. Goodbye and good night.